I'm very, very glad and honored to be introducing our speaker, Ian Kittichai, connecting all the way from Thailand to share his insights on how to become a great chef and entrepreneur. Welcome, Ian.
Sawadee. Hello, everyone. My name is Ian Kittichai. I'm a chef, and really excited to be, online and talking to everyone from, around the world, right? And then,
The camera's on.
and
Thank you, Ian. Hi, Hannah. We can see you. Sawadee.
I'm sorry. Well, really excited to meet everyone, and then love to chat with everyone who has a question, and then I'm really excited.
That's great. This community, the Female Entrepreneurs Worldwide community, obviously we're so glad and honored to have you. You're a celebrity chef, but they're also a very interactive community. And as I said, if anyone along our chat has a question, I'm going to put them on the stage and they will directly ask the question to you. If not, later on, we'll have also the opportunity for some Q&A.
Okay.
But to start, I would like to ask this. We know that entrepreneurship, the journey of entrepreneurship, can be challenging, can be sometimes lonely, can be unexpected. It's everything and unexpected, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So how was your entrepreneurship journey? How did you start from being a chef and then owning businesses and building them, growing them around the world? I read that you used to go with your mom to the wet market, and perhaps that's where your inspiration started. So tell us more about the start of your journey and how has it been?
Okay, I came from a big family. I have 7 sisters, and then it's me, only a boy in the family.
Wow.
And then, so this job actually has been passing on from my sister to me, because each one of them left to Australia.
Okay.
To start with, they went with friends, and then they took one of the other, and then so it's my turn to drive my mom to the market, and then I was 13.
How old were you?
13.
13. Okay.
And my mom doesn't drive, and then so it was my job, my sister teaching me how to drive, like after school every day, until like I'm really get used to it. But of course, you can't get the driver license.
Yes, very young.
Very young. Then I have to get up like 2:30 in the morning to drive my mom to Rama 4 market, which is like half an hour from where we live. And then I slept in the car because I had to go to school. So my mom goes shopping around until like 5:30 in the morning. She came back, and then I drove the car back. Place everything in front of the house, go to school, came back, and then she did like what left over, and then plus what she bought for the, she cooked the food for the push cart right after the, like 4 o'clock, I came back from school, and then she had like 10 different kind of curries on the push cart. And then I came back, I pushed the cart around the neighborhood for like hour and a half, and then we sold out everything. And then this is like 365 days a year.
Wow.
And I get a chance to go the market tour with her on the weekend because of Saturday and Sunday is day off from the school. So teaching me how to pick the vegetables, talk to the food vendors, like how to get to know them. And then, you get the special things, like they will keep something special for you. They will pick something like this is what you should get because of you are regular as well, right? So I've been doing that for like 2 years, and then I can see my mom like work really hard, and then I don't want to be a chef like her because of I want to do something different. But I end up it's my turn now. I finished my college, and then I went to London. So my first job was a pot washer.
Okay.
At the Waldorf Hotel, and then I cannot speak any English at all. Period. Like.
Wow, that's very adventurous of you.
Yeah. Well, I was there when I was 16 in London, and then I started. My first job was the pot washer at the Waldorf Hotel, and then And this is not the reason I came to London, but I want to learn how to speak English, to take the business course for like 2 years and come back to Thailand to work in the office because of I don't want to be a chef at all. But I ended up working in the kitchen. The manager offering me, I went to help in the kitchen, and then it was like, you want to be a chef? And then I was 16. It was like, be a chef? No way. It was like, I don't know anything about it. I was like, well, if you want to be a chef, we could have sent you to school. And then I was like, oh my gosh, because my mom borrowed the money from the neighbor to buy me a ticket for a year, return ticket, and then also to pay for the school for 6 months, to pay for the housing for 6 months. And then, by that time, I think I can continue getting a job, like a part-time job, because you're not allowed to work full-time. Then, that's how I start cooking. I went to school, and then I was there for 2 years working in the kitchen. And I moved to Australia to join my family, my sisters and my mom. My dad was there. Then they have a Thai restaurant. So, but I have finished my apprenticeship. So I continued my apprenticeship in Sydney. And then since then, when I was 18, I decided I want to be a chef. So by going to the cookbook store and then reading, but not the recipe, reading why they become chef become a chef. So they did a good training. They want to, open their own restaurant. Some have the cookbooks already because there's the cookbook on the shelf with that chef name on it. So I start to see the future, like how those successful chefs become a successful people.
Yeah.
And then, so I kind of like go along that you have to have a good training. You have to train with a good chef to learn. And then, the behind that is all working really hard in the kitchen 24. I don't want to say 24 hours, but it's a long hours anyway. Yeah. So that's actually my I think my passion, it came when I look behind, when I was with my mom and started up with her, get up early in the morning, go to the markets. Like this is more like in the old days, right? The chef had to go to the market to pick their food and so on, so on, so on. So I think that actually came later with my passion about love to cook. And then that's how I start. I told myself like, I want to be successful when I was 18, but I don't know what was successful to me. In the future. But I think learning, by mistake and also, you're working really hard, and then I don't know what I want to achieve in the beginning, but I tell myself like, I want to be successful. That's how I started when I was 18. Yeah.
Do you think that from early start, you already started developing an entrepreneur mindset? Because some of our members were also wondering, do you really needed to have this F&B knowledge before? And do you focus more on the food and the cookery, or do you focus more on the business side? So when your passion for food ignited at 18, what was the thing that you decided to focus more on? Did you have to divide yourself in everything matters when it comes to being a chef and a restaurateur?
Well, in the beginning, I think the food came first because of you want to know, you want to learn what you want to cook. That's actually my early start. Then I think the business come in later because you want to open your own restaurants. So then you need money to save, and then also you need an experience to run your own business, right? So a lot of chefs who did their cooking school after 4 years, so they think they know everything. They open a restaurant, first restaurant, maybe like 3 to 6 months, and then most of them fail. Because they don't know how to run the business. They don't know, they only know one thing, that they can cook good. And then they think that people can come. But, the business behind, and then that business was, you need to know, you have to have experience. You have to know everything. You need to know about front of the house, how to run the business, you have to have the costing, food costs, and then labor, and then talk to your staff and human resource, everything. I think from the top to the bottom.
But is it then more, and excuse my ignorance in this sense, obviously, but is it easier than for a business person to achieve in the restaurant business or for a chef? Because I understand if you are passionate about your food, it might be more difficult to let go and decide, okay, now I have to focus on the business side. It's taking away from my creations and innovating in the food side.
Well, I think you have to have both because of nowadays, like if I want to open the restaurants in, now I just did open the restaurant in Taipei in July last year. And then I have to have a chef who actually had a mindset, like, first of all, he cannot only just cooking.
Okay.
He has to run his kitchen or his team, and then different nationality. They're not Thai people. Then he has to have a mindset about the business in terms of food costing. If he opened the restaurants and people coming in, and then they want to talk to you, they want to see you.
Yeah.
He actually had to step out to go to see the customer. If that person is the real chef or a Thai person, right? If you open a Thai restaurant, of course. And then also you have to have a really good partner, like business partner. That is really something that you need to build by, getting to know each other. And then by the time it probably will take quite some time. It might take years until you're getting to know, and then you get married, right? Because you want to open, and then because you want to get, you want to open business together. So that means like you're getting married to somebody that you want to know, you want to learn, and then it's not just about the money. It's just about everything that you're creating, your experience, and then you have to have that. But that person, maybe that chef doesn't have everything. He's just a cook, right? But nowadays people want skill, multitask. So you actually have to do everything.
Yes, I guess at least to have an overall understanding of where you stepping in. So when things happen, good or bad, you know how to react. And as you were saying, to be very open to the options and the possibilities. And it doesn't have to be a rush. It doesn't have to be in a rush. We have a question from our members here. If you're using phone or tablet. No, still, we are still waiting for some questions.
Okay.
So I do have a next question.
Okay.
You have the passion for food. You have the business acumen and perhaps a very good partner. Then when it comes to choosing the place where you want to open your restaurant, how do you decide if you buy versus rent?
Well, it's depends on the situation, right? Because of if you buy, it's really good because it's going to be your own space, you invest. And then a lot of people do that.
Okay.
Nowadays, since you just start up, it's going to be really difficult because of it just depends on the different country as well, different location. If the traffic is really good, foot traffic, people walking by, and so on, it probably would be great location to put your restaurants there because of a lot of people see, and then they walk past, they see it maybe next time they're coming in, but they're going to be like really expensive. Example, like I have a friend of mine, they're from Thailand, they want to open restaurants in London. So they go where is the busy location in heart of London. They went to Soho, which is a lot of tourists coming in, and then they open not a Chinese restaurant. They open a restaurant concept, which is the if the tourists coming in, they're not going to go to that kind of restaurants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the local people, they live outside London, so it's better for them. After a few years, after a year or two, they move the restaurants to outside skirt of London. So they get actually more customer, they get cheaper rent, and they make more money.
Yeah.
You actually had to study really hard. Like if you want to open somewhere, it's really great location, and you actually have to see who actually living around there, who's going to come into that area, what kind of your customer, price point, and so on, so on. Go back to your question, buy or rent. I think it just depends on the situation. If you have a lot of money, of course, that's the good investment.
Yeah. I guess as you were saying, you have to do your proper market research and know if you want to go with the trend, the hype. Is it about all the concept, or it's also about your customer base? And for that, everybody's asking, how much does it start to, does it cost to start? It depends on, I guess, the concept, but can you give us more or less an idea if it's too expensive, or we can do something cheaper?
Example, like I'm sure like from Hong Kong, Singapore, and Bangkok, completely different. A lot of people who come here from Singapore and Hong Kong to start up in Bangkok because the cost actually cheaper. You can actually build the restaurant right around heart of the city, around 25 million up to 30 million baht, which is I don't know how many Hong Kong dollars, but it was around let's say 1 million US dollars. Okay, and then but if you open in Hong Kong, it's going to be much more. It's going to be much more. The structure, if you take over, it used to be the restaurants before, so you might get the kitchen structure, you might get exhaust, which is there already, so you don't actually have to do much. But for Bangkok, it's around 30 million to have like 40 seat, 50 seat restaurants. It can be a house, a property with a garden, a little bit of garden, but you actually have to look around a bit. So that Bangkok, it probably would be 1 million US dollars.
And you have restaurants in a lot of places. So I guess every time the situation was different for you to choose and decide where to go, how to do it. How do you manage that? And after that, we do have a question from the audience. You can just let me know how you manage everything around it.
Well, this is female entrepreneur, which is my wife, Sarah Chang, which is the person behind. Always, the great successful man have the woman behind. So she helping me a lot to doing all the talkings and then business dealing, contract, and so on, so on, so on. So she left me to be a creator, in the kitchen, and then because I'm really good at that. But of course, you actually have to know everything. And so she actually is sitting next to me, and then she could tell you a lot about the business deal, and then the contract, and she has friends around the world, or mostly like either lawyer, banker, or not the chef, just only me. and then she's actually do a lot of on the paperwork, a lot on that for me. So and I'm glad that I have a great team as well. I have 2 more women in my team. One is in the kitchen, and then she's been with me more than over 10 years.
Wow.
And then she also a chef. And then I have another person, which is from the office side. So she helping a lot with the contact people, and then people who want to contact me, and then getting email coming in for the deal, or some business from overseas, customer service, something like that.
Yeah, as you were saying, it's all about the partnership and the community that you build and the relationships.
Yes.
We have Rachel. She raised her hand. She is connecting from Canada. Hi, Rachel. Do you want to ask a question to Ian?
Yes, absolutely. Sawadika from Canada. Thank you so much for sharing your insights about the industry. It's fascinating to hear from someone so talented and experienced as you. I just kind of wanted to ask you, I know a lot of people here in Canada are chatting about how difficult COVID-19 has been on the restaurant industry. But what, in your opinion, if anything, is something positive that COVID has done for the restaurant and hospitality industry?
Well, it's many things. Good things that I have the television to helping me, but that's more like on my side. And then what I do, we have a small kitchen in my properties here where my office is, and then we do food delivery. Actually, we're doing prep some today as well. So we creating something. If they can't go to the restaurants, we actually have a system they can order it, and then we put it online, and that's actually helping my team, and then helping outside, not just to be sitting at home and waiting something to happen. Or so we actually creating something. We sit together, we plan, and trying to come up with activities like what can we do, and so on, so on.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Khopin ka.
Khopin ka. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much to Rachel, and that was a great answer, Ian. Thank you. We have the question from our audience, and I believe she's Anna Wong from Few, and that also connects to the other question that I have. Some of her friends said that restaurants are a bad investment. They have lost money. And from our members in the community, they also think that perhaps food and beverage and restaurants are not very trendy as, let's say, startups or fintech or all of this hype new industries that everybody's talking about, tech. What do you think about it? What's your advice in terms of investment, how to attract investors, and is it a good or a bad investment?
Okay, I think Sarah would like to answer that.
Okay.
Hello. Sorry. We were actually talking about this not that long ago. I think the type of investor who invests in restaurants is a very different type of investor than somebody who would be looking at fintech and financial investments. In our experience, a lot of people invest in restaurants because they're passion projects. A lot of people invest in restaurants because they already are in finance or tech and they want to do something different. There's also a lot of innovation coming because of COVID, but it was already happening, but COVID has accelerated this process with technology, AI, and things into the restaurant industry. So these are areas that are fast developing, that are areas of investment that relate to restaurants, but not in the traditional sense. So I think that there are angles, that it just depends on what your concept is, that you could look at, especially now that things are changing so rapidly. But like I said, traditionally, I think if you have a concept that appeals to people and you have it's a lot of networking, as any kind of fundraising is, but it's tapping into those people who have a passion or who want to invest in something else because they've already done the finance and the tech and whatever else.
Thank you, Sarah. And going back again, putting it together, you're saying that we have to be open to perspectives and open to opportunities. And I guess with the situation, things are not separated. They're not only tech or only finance. They could be together, and even a very interesting concept. So we have so many different concepts out there. There's a lot of competition in terms of restaurants or even celebrity status for chefs. Mm-hmm. How do you differentiate yourself, Ian?
Well, for me, we do the research if you want to open the restaurants in certain places around the world. Doesn't matter in New York, Taiwan or Hong Kong, Singapore, and right here in Bangkok as well. So I think it's really first of all, you need to know your market. You need to know the culture, because that is really important. I opened the restaurants in Mumbai. 60% of people there is vegetarian, vegan, but I found it's not 60%. I found it's like 99%.
Oh.
every person or everyone who came to the restaurants, they're all vegetarian.
Do they just do it by choice after they see your menu and they're like, oh, this is very interesting and we might as well do it? Or
well, but at the end I went out and talked to them. I said, well, look, why you are vegetarian? Because I was really curious about it, because everyone walked into the restaurant. We actually have like non-vegetarian menu, and then of course we have vegetarian menu as well, but our non-vegetarian actually larger than vegetarian. And then so I went out and asked, I was like, look, what is it? Is that religion? They said, no, it's because of the health. They're concerned about their, health conscious and stuff like that. It's not about religion at all. And then it was like, oh my gosh, it was like, it's the whole Mumbai thing. Like, of course, but they say that if you could make really great vegetarian, tastes really good, that restaurant would be very successful. And then I try my best, and then I really into the vegetarian menu. So I came back to open my restaurants in Bangkok. I have like one page of a vegetarian menu, and I don't even think like Thai people want that. So many people who crave or want to be a vegetarian, but you get everyone who coming in and order vegetarian dishes. But that actually I get inspired from that. But of course you actually have to know your customer base. You need to know the culture, what they do eat, what they don't eat. Like if you go to
it's the dining habits.
Dining habit. And then in Mumbai, everyone come to eat after the office hours, and then they leave like 2 hours away from Mumbai. They have to go back to their house and coming out. And then our restaurant closed at 10:30 because in the hotel. And then by the time they coming here, they come in at 10:45. And then that's actually that's the culture. That's the habit. And then that's like the routine of the in that country. And then same thing in Spain. They opened the restaurant in Spain. And then it was like, oh my God, let's book. I want to go out and eat at 7:00. And I was like, no, we're not open until. Like, wow.
They eat very late. Yeah, I know. I'm from Mexico, and it's very similar. We eat very, very late.
Oh, really? And then I was shocking. I was like, I want to go to bed like, midnight. No, midnight we're still eating. We're just starting. And then they're going out like 2:30, 3:00 in the morning until party until like 6:00, go home at 6:30, 7:00. I was like, that's crazy. But that's basically they don't eat spicy.
Okay.
They don't eat chili at all. In Spain, no. And then when I cook like black pepper sauce, they was like, this is so spicy. I say black pepper. You actually have to know your customer base. So that's actually is a lot. So what local people eat, what they palate, and what they enjoy eating. So that's basically you can find and then modify your menu to be your style and then appropriate. You're not changing your style, but you actually have to know where you open your restaurants.
To localize it, I guess. But what's the fine line? Because I have encountered, and talking about my own cuisine from Mexico, a lot of restaurant people, they don't want to change. They say, okay, this is the way the dish should be. And as you're saying, us Mexicans, we eat a lot of spicy and might not resonate with a lot of other people around the world. So what's that fine line between keeping your values, your authenticity, and localizing it to your audience?
Well, the authenticity that you need to keep, you can actually make it like, like what you just said, fine line. And then that's just your line. Then when people want more spicy, you can add more. But when it's too spicy, you can't take it out.
Yes, true.
You diluted your food. If the customer send it back, they was like, this is too spicy, they can't eat it. So what you're going to do, you're going to throw it away or you're going to dilute your food. So you actually have to ask yourself. So it have to be like, medium spicy, like everyone can enjoy it. But if you want more spicy, I can blow your head up, with the chili. I can blow your head away. So that you can do. So I think you need to have like if Mr. A coming in to eat, it was like, oh, this is wonderful. And B came in and it was like, wow, this is too spicy. And then the C was like, oh, this is okay. So you want it in between. You want every time consistency. You want A, B, and C coming in. They really enjoyed it, and then it had to be that line. And to keep, your traditional, to keep your
green curry in New York.
Yeah, and then like I did my green curry in New York City, and then we have a apple eggplant. Eggplant is kind of a different eggplant than European eggplant, and our eggplant is a little bit bitter, but that's the way it is. And then every time I put it in, nobody eat it. And then my staff told me, well, chef, why you put it in? I said, well, if I don't put that in, it's not gonna be green curry like what I used to do, or my mom used to make it, or this is what in Thailand. But I put less.
Okay.
If you don't eat it, it's fine. So it's not gonna ruin, because you pay for it already. But it had to be inside. It's my green curry because of it's like 4 wheels. It run great already. You can't put another wheel in. It doesn't make any sense because of everything. Like the food is really great already. You just make it more yummy, more tasty, and then look beautiful. And you don't actually have to do much because of that recipe has been created for many years already, over 100 years. And what you need to do, you just keep the consistency. The spiciness, you can add it in.
Yeah.
If too spicy, you can take it out. You can't take it out.
I love that you're using that word. We use it a lot in our online sessions because consistency, it's important for brands and for people to get that celebrity status or the recognition of a brand. And this sounds like it's almost a balance between consistency, adaptability, transformation, and obviously educating people on what you're putting forward. We have another question from our audience. Stiti is asking, what is your perception on halal food or halal kitchen? Is it worth to attract customers worldwide?
Absolutely. Like, for Thailand, everything that we get it from store, it's halal, like, chicken, meat. We got a lot of beef from Australia. It's all halal. So when you're walking into the not halal restaurants, but all the meat procedure is more halal already, that to ingredients to serve, except like this restaurant actually serve both. So maybe
Depends on what country
and also depends on the country that you are in as well. Like if you're in the UAE, of course, it period. So you can't actually serve any pork item or something like that at all. And then you have to, but US is not that halal orientated because of it's kind of like really larger country. But of course, I think, when somebody who has that religion come into your restaurant and then they're asking if it is the halal, procedure and stuff like that. But of course, it's really important as well. Yes.
We go again back to that part of having your market research done and knowing your audience. One more question from the audience. And how do you retain your staff and sustain the great standards of your recipes?
We actually have the recipe, we have system. And then what we do, example, like you actually have to cook one piece of beef for 3 hours. They have to cook for 3 hours. So it had to be a recipe written down, because otherwise the staff coming back, you don't have the recipe.
Yeah.
I did it 3 hours, but I say 3 hours have to be the water, that temperature level has to be, had to start from that hours, not like you put it in and then you count 3 hours.
Okay.
So there should be their system, and then it's have to be recipes. So, in terms of different meat cooking, so I have every recipe in the kitchen. So the staff can look at it, to make green curry paste, to make red curry paste, and then they know exactly what amount need to put in, and so on, so on, so on. And then how they have procedure, like one direction, how to make that. So every time I have example like I have a gastro bar. They use the lamb shank. They do red wine sauce, and then I have a Thai restaurant with massaman curry. Same ingredients but different sauce. So the temperature of cooking exactly the same.
Okay.
So they be step 1, 2, and 3. So that they have to follow the procedure.
And you mentioned you have your female chef has been with you for 10 years. So in addition to that same question from our audience, how do you retain your staff?
Well, you know, we sit down a lot. We talk about a lot of food ingredients. So we're going Iron Chef battle this Monday coming, and then we fight what we want to do within an hour. So we actually have technique that we want to do. We want to show to the audience. And then it was like, it's not enough for 1 hour because we can't do this. And then we actually share the ideas. And then we love food. And we actually cooking like almost every day. We hands-on. Today we prepping for the Valentine cake, chocolate cake in the kitchen. Right after this, I go back to my kitchen. And then we do Wellington to be on social media, and then we sell it online. And then next week I go filming Iron Chef, and then another show for the big kitchen. And then Friday it's a lot of yeah. But to do that, I think the relationship is really important. Like, you know, I think we met each other since the year 2000.
Okay.
She came to, I opened the restaurants in New York in 2003, and then she came over. So she's been with me since then. And then she came back, she went to work a few hotels, and then now she with the company. I think it's kind of like, you know each other, and you feel, you look at in your eyes, and then you know exactly. But it's a lot to do as well to keep that relationship for a long period of time. And I think I'm just lucky to have the female surround me and then helping me, and then to make me successful as well.
As you were saying, you build up those relationships, you nurture them. And it sounds like you empower your team and make them part of the creative process, the innovation, and everything that is happening around. Well, I'm sure we could keep on talking for hours and hours. There's so many interesting things that myself and the audience would like to keep on asking. To round it up, Ian, I would like to know, how did you gain your celebrity status? How did you get there? Because I also remember watching you in Iron Chef back in the day with Mario Batali and all of these also great chefs, and now obviously you're part of Master Chef in Thailand. How did this happen?
Well, I think I cook good food, and then when I did the battle with Mario Batali, he came to the restaurants, and then not the team of the Food Network, but himself proposed Food Network or Iron Chef United States that he want me to be battle with him, right? And then at the end, if you watch that, at the end of the show, he said, Ian is one of the not one of. He said Ian is the great, food in United States, and then that PR you cannot buy. Or you ask him, you pay him to say that. And then he said, Ian is not one of the best chef or something. He said, Ian is the great chef. And then that's period. I think, from to hear what he say that, and then also, when I get that invitation, and then it being recognized. So I think it starts from that moment. But before that, I have my cooking show since the year 2000. I did a Thai cooking show here since the 2002, 2003, before I left to New York to open the restaurants. And then I think when people saw me, and majority is mostly like housewife, because of the show is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So basically you're not at the office, right? So I have a lot of all the audience who who my fan club.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Over 60. I cannot believe it. Like I walked to the shopping mall and then this old lady was like, champion. And it was like, so I asked Sarah, I was like, how come there is no younger generation who like, want to be my fan club? She said, they're working at the office. 4:00, they're still at work. They're not coming out yet. But, that back in year 2000. But now I think it's a lot of luck as well. And then also, the way people love cooking show,
Yeah.
They can put the cooking show on, they look at food and they look, maybe they look at you less or something. But if you actually making them really to pay attention to watch, and then there was like, the Master Chef, I cannot believe it. Like a lot of people, they tell their husband, like, I have to be back home at 6 p.m. I want to watch the show. And then that was phenomenal. And if you have more than 5 million eyeballs to watch that, like every Sunday. So that was phenomenal. And then I think that, the kid as well, you cannot believe it. Like, I'm not like really mean to the kid, but the kid would like, it seemed like I'm really mean to the kids. But the kid, when they saw me outside, they love me. They want to, talk about food. They were so shy, but they want to be like next to you and then talking about like I cooking at home as well. This is my dish and so on, so on. So that is really, I think because of you appear once and then people really look at you and then they really like you, and then they want to keep watching. So, and then also every time I appear on TV, I have to find something like really excited, really pull attention to look at me, like what I'm cooking, give them some tips and so on, so on. So I think that will gain and to gain the people who want to see me and then want to see your cooking and then really enjoy the what you do on celebrity show and stuff like that.
That's wonderful. And as you say, they are indeed very, very entertaining. I am not myself a cook whatsoever, but I love watching these shows. And they're very light, but you still learn. And to summarize and to wrap it up, you said these very important words. You keep on learning all the time and finding new ways to be appealing to your audience. So you have a great understanding and reading your audience. You have been consistent, because that consistency, I'm sure, has taken you to the point where you are of success. I'm getting a lot of happy faces on the screen. I don't know if you can see them, Ian. I'm sure everybody at the audience are agreeing with me. Yes, thumbs up and claps. We love that interaction. And last but not least, I feel that you are fearless. It's just, let's try it. Let's be open and just enjoy the journey.
Yes, yeah. I really I don't know why I'm doing this. Like I want to work hard and harder, and I do really enjoyed it. And then, but I need to keep motivation to my team as well. Like but it can't be just only me. I have to drive them as well, like in the nice way, of course, and to give them the motivation and to give them the ideas and stuff like that. And then they're supporting you back, and I think this is the really good thing to do with your team as well, because you cannot run the show by yourself. You need your team.
Correct. And if we were to think restaurants, the journey to being chef to restaurateur, yay or nay, I would have to say, if you have the passion and you have a great team supporting you and you're able to seize the opportunities, why not? Absolutely. We almost got to the hour. If there's any other questions from the audience, anybody wants to raise their hands, ask something directly to Ian. I'm sure if you haven't got a question now and later on you have one, you can always connect with the Female Entrepreneurs Worldwide team, and they will be able to connect you with Ian and many more of our very wonderful entrepreneurs and industry leaders that appear in our online sessions. #AskFemAndChef. you everything. I would like to thank you very, very much, Ian. It has been wonderful, and also Sarah, to be there and support you and give us some of the insights. We have more sessions next week, so remember to RSVP through the platform or email directly the few team members. Thank you very much once again to everyone. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Sarah. Take care. Please stay safe. My name is Yamilette, and I'm happy again to be your host. Till next time.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.